I wanted to open up this video with a big shout out over to Chicken Pig Hog, aka Frank, who went out there and tweeted this at me. Hey Lego, I've been waiting for your update video on this. Maybe I'm giving you an update this time. And yeah, I saw this pop up on my timeline and I was like, wait a minute, that's actually a really noteworthy story that Mr. Chicken Pig Hog is going out there and notifying us about. So thanks to Frank over here, we are making a video about this because Alexander Appleyard had this tweet earlier yesterday talking about how SKA chairman Medvedev is going out there and talking about how the Philadelphia Flyers want Matvei Michkov in the NHL. This entire thing is summarized in this article, that in which we will read. It was posted onto matchtv.ru, and I translated it from Russian into English. I mean, the original page looks like this. You can't really read it unless you understand Russian. I do have some Russian friends. I gotta go out there and ask them how exactly to read this, but just in case they're not available, the Google machine is here for us, and Google can do all the work. Before we go over this, though, let's talk about the profile here. Matvei Michkov has been a very good player. 19 years old, 5'10", 176, left-handed right-wing guy, 7th overall pick by the Philadelphia Flyers on a contract with SKA that goes on until 2026. Michkov, this recent season, had 41 points in 47 games played, 19 goals, and 22 assists, which is astounding point production out of a guy in the top league in Russia. It is unheard of to see guys go out there and produce at even half a point a game at 18 years old, but Michkov was already there at a point per game last year and this year. So the fact that he was able to continue with that level of success was a very good sign. He is a goal scorer. He is the best Russian prospect on the planet. And if he ends up rivaling Connor Bedard in terms of overall ceiling in the NHL, it wouldn't be the most surprising thing in the world. Considering all the hype about these two and how they were always compared neck and neck, Michkov only dropped to 7th overall because of his contract status and the uncertainty with Russian players heading into the NHL Draft. None of that was his fault, but it ended up tanking his stock accordingly. Despite this, though, we had ourselves this article published on matchtv.ru talking about how the Philadelphia Flyers really want to get Matvei Michkov on their team. We are discussing different options, says Alexander Medvedev. Now, look, is this surprising? No. The Philadelphia Flyers want Michkov. Wow, amazing, shocker news. Of course they want a guy who is one of the best U19 players the KHL has ever seen and could potentially be the very best one out of the bunch. Either way, let's go out there and read this article published by Pavel Lysenkov from 2 days ago. Chairman of the Board of Directors of SKA St. Petersburg, Alexander Medvedev, in an interview with Match TV, did not rule out the possibility that forward Matvei Michkov would go to the NHL's Philadelphia Flyers this summer. That is huge. Opening paragraph, opening sentence, they're already considering the idea that it is possible. They did not rule it out. Michkov was selected by the Flyers in the first round, 7th overall. He has a 2-year contract remaining with SKA, but he really wants to go to Philadelphia. Will the club release him from St. Petersburg? I think, and I assume this answer is written out there by Alexander Medvedev. If I'm wrong, then somebody go out there in the comments. I think it's better to leave like Ovechkin or Panarin. When you have already established yourself in Russia and you're not going to North America to travel between the NHL and the AHL. We must not forget that Matvei experienced a terrible tragedy, losing his father, who was also a mentor for him, being by his side all the time. It's hard to play psychologically, be it Sochi or Moscow, where everything reminds you of this loss. Maybe a change of environment will make it easier to adapt. Change to SKA St. Petersburg or Philadelphia? Avangard released Ivan Miroshnichenko in the same situation. Unlike the situation with Ivan Fedotov, we are in contact with Philadelphia. They say the Flyers management does not hide their desire for Matvei to come over to them and try his hand at the NHL. But if you go earlier, then you need to have a clause in the contract that if Philadelphia is tempted to send him over to the AHL, he'll have the right to return. But it's too early to talk about this, because legally, Michkov is under contract with SKA, and Philadelphia sent us their assurances that they would not commit any violations of contractual rights. So we always knew this was going to be difficult, right? Not even just like Philadelphia Flyers fans, but like hockey fans. We all kind of knew that there was going to be a struggle to try to get Michkov out of SKA and into the NHL early. But the fact that the board of governors of SKA is going out there and straight up talking about it, like, yeah, we've talked about it. We know we're in contact with Philadelphia. They're saying they want him. It's interesting how he says, unlike the Ivan Fedotov situation, we are in contact with Philadelphia. Because it's like, yeah, with the Fedotov thing, nobody knew what was going on there, and then he left. So it's good to see that the SKA-Philadelphia relationship has gotten a bit better since then, and that they're actually able to talk openly about Matvei Michkov. But at the end of the day, it is a good point that Medvedev is bringing up. He wants to protect his guys. At least that's what it appears to look like. He wants to make sure that Michkov isn't going over to North America just to be a tweener between the NHL and the AHL. Honestly, I don't think that should be too much of a concern because Michkov is already this gosh darn good for HK Sochi and the KHL. And look, heading over to SKA St. Petersburg next season, if he's going to get only limited minutes, then is that going to be all too profitable for him compared to if he went over to the NHL and played in a middle six Philadelphia Flyers role? I know that Medvedev would obviously have it in his own best interest to keep Michkov around for SKA, but you can't really trust that team to be able to develop Michkov in the ways that they want him to. SKA St. Petersburg is about winning hockey games. They're not a developmental program. They're not existing for the purpose of giving Michkov playing time. They didn't give him playing time, which is why he got loaned over to Sochi. He was scratched for a whole bunch of games too, so would this really be the right course of action to keep him around? Who really knows? Nikolai Kovalenko has such a clause that he can return to the KHL by the end of December if he is not given a chance in Colorado, and that's a fairly common move. There's nothing bad about it, but still, for a mask wearer to go to the NHL, you can try, of course. That must be a lost in translation thing. A mask wearer? What does that mean? You can try, of course, but how many cases were there where the guy didn't play? There are more than a dozen such names. They left early and were unable to open up, and when we returned to Russia, we didn't even play at home. We understand that Matvei is a great talent. This is not even worth discussing. I think we'll be talking about all the options, first of all, with himself. And we'll also talk with the leaders of the Philadelphia Flyers, with whom we have very good relations. There's understanding, and you will be patient. I think the decision on Michkov will be no later than the end of June, Medvedev told Match.tv. Last season, 19-year-old Michkov scored 41 points in 47 matches for Sochi. So there you go. That is our update here from Sochi to SKA St. Petersburg to Philadelphia. Who really knows? Matvei Michkov is in cahoots with the Philadelphia Flyers organization, the player and the team that he is on. SKA St. Petersburg, they've been talking about this. They know there is interest, but the question is whether or not Michkov will be given a proper role. Seems like Medvedev of SKA wants to make sure that is going to be guaranteed. If not, then Michkov will probably have an opportunity to return. Now, we don't know exactly at this point what's going to happen. No later than June. Right now it's May 1st, so we'll see what happens by the time June rolls around. But for now, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below about this huge Matvei Michkov update and how, based off of some of the conversations that are going on behind the scenes, we might not have to wait until 2025-2026 for Matvei Michkov to actually make an appearance on North American soil. Sure, there would probably be some sort of a clause preventing him from going to the AHL, because that's seen as a really, I don't want to say like degrading move, but I think that's the best way to describe it. Like, we had seen how a lot of these KHL to NHL players felt about getting sent down and not being given an opportunity. Vadim Shipachev is like the biggest example, I'd say, in recent memory, but to prevent that, there seems to be some sort of a clause that the SKA folks want to put in a contract agreement where it's like, yeah, if you send Michkov down to the AHL, you're sending him back here instead. He's playing for us. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Matvei Michkov update. If you're a Philadelphia Flyers fan, what does this mean to you, and where do you think Michkov could slot into your team if he is on it? Is he an immediate top 6 guy? Who really knows? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.